Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Yesterday had a summer-like feel. Today a bit more like spring, but winter will be returning in a major way tomorrow. The National Weather Service issuing blizzard warnings for 57 different counties until 2 p.m. in central Nebraska and until 7 to 10 p.m. in eastern Nebraska. Forecasters say upwards of 6 inches of snow could fall, the heaviest snowfall amounts expected in northeast Nebraska. But it's not just the snow. Winds are expected to gust well over 50 miles per hour. That's going to create widespread blowing snow that will significantly reduce visibility and make travel almost impossible in much of the state. The system expected to move into the state Tuesday evening, bringing initially the threat of thunderstorms before temperatures fall Wednesday. The winter blast won't stay long, though. Forecasters say temperatures are expected to get back up into the 50s and 60s by this weekend.
When the next severe weather event happens, don't get caught in the dark. Power your kitchen, HVAC, and communication systems with a Jackery solar-capable generator. Just click on our YouTube affiliate shopping tab and you're on your way. And Husker fans, the Explorer series is perfect for tailgating.
Elsewhere in news, quick reaction from neighbors. Kearney's volunteer fire department and police are credited with limiting the damage of a fire at a home in Kearney on Monday. The call came in around 6 o'clock for the structure fire on 42nd Street on Kearney's east side. The homeowner told News Channel Nebraska the neighbors smelled smoke and heard alarms going off, prompting them to call 911. She says they were cooking food, went to pick their grandkids up, then took them to their parents' house and forgot to turn off the stove. The skillet ended up in the backyard after firefighters entered the kitchen and were able to put out the flames. It appeared they never needed to use their hoses or water because, again, of the quick reaction from neighbors and responding units. No word yet on the extent of the damage done. Meanwhile, Hastings Fire and Rescue say a structure fire quickly put out around noon Monday. Fire officials say the blaze, deemed accidental, started when cardboard boxes were left on an electric stovetop. The residents were in the process of moving into the home but weren't home at the time. One of the residents returned to find the home filled with smoke and tried to extinguish the flames with a fire extinguisher. However, the fire had grown large enough that Hastings Fire and Rescue needed to establish a water line to control the blaze. Emergency medical personnel evaluated the man at the scene. No injuries were reported. The structure considered salvageable but currently uninhabitable. Legal news, a northeast Nebraska feedlot owner's theft conviction will stand for now. In a decision released Tuesday, the Nebraska Court of Appeals upheld the felony theft conviction of Trevor Bellina of Battle Creek. A jury convicted him in 2023 after he was accused of stealing cattle from a separate feedlot and slaughtering them for his own use. Bellina was sentenced to 4 years probation, but appealed his conviction. He argued the jury received improper instructions and that the prosecutors suppressed evidence, but the state appeals court disagreed. Bellina is currently serving a prison sentence of over 11 years related to a separate case involving the sexual assault of 4 minors that worked on his feedlot. Members of the Trump administration continue declining to predict whether or not the U.S. will go into a recession. They're forecasting what they're calling a transitional period with potential economic pain. President Donald Trump says his new tariffs will be worth it in the end, creating what he calls a better future for Americans. Amy Kiley has more.
They're sort of making excuses and stories about a bad economy when we don't yet have a bad economy.
Experts say it's not too late to avoid inflation and a potential economic slowdown. That's despite a grim new forecast and warnings like these from the Trump administration.
There are no guarantees.
Between now and April 2nd, there'll be some uncertainty.
April 2nd is when President Donald Trump says he'll unveil sweeping new tariffs. He says they'll offer negotiating leverage, protection for some domestic industries, and a response to trade deficits.
It's a liberation day for our country because we're going to be getting back a lot of the wealth that we so foolishly gave up to other countries.
A new report from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development paints a grimmer outlook. It predicts if U.S. businesses end up paying more tariffs, that would lead to price hikes for American consumers and a slower U.S. economy. But note that word if.
A lot of the fundamentals are still in pretty good shape.
It's almost as if the Trump economic team has accepted that bad things are going to happen.
The president says he won't back down on tariffs. Other countries say they're working on retaliatory measures and trade deals that don't involve the U.S. But economists point out it's not April 2nd yet.
That's kind of a self-created crisis. I feel like that could be pretty easily reversed if needed.
I'm Mimi Kiley reporting.
Sometimes in smaller towns, there's more widespread support for new developments that can lead to more sustainability. That's certainly the case in one southeast Nebraska town. Jake Bartecki has more.
Progress. That's what's happening in a southeast Nebraska town of less than 75, just south of Tecumseh. The Elk Creek community is coming together to raise funds for a new 2-in-1 fire hall and community building.
Got a lot of donations. We've got over $100,000 in donations so far.
It's a building that the town was desperately in need of.
Through vigorous leadership, those who call Elk Creek home secured funding through grants from the state of Nebraska while also forming the Elk Creek Community Fund, allowing for tax charitable donations to bring in more money. Chair for the Community Fund, Jacob Robinson, says upgrades are noticeable and the project's been much needed.
With this newer facility, obviously you can see huge upgrades compared to what we had. And what that allows us to do moving forward is have bigger events, have more things here, bring people back to the community, which is our primary goals.
The town plans for the community building to hold events such as parties, weddings, and get-togethers. The fire hall, once finished, will be brand new. On Monday, the Community Fund and its board members celebrated $85,000 in donations through the Community Fund. Lifelong Elk Creek native Arlen Beathy says much of that was assisted by the Nebraska Foundation.
Got the Nebraska Foundation down to tell them how to start things and how to get things going, and they went out and did a tremendous job of collecting money. I think they talked to the alumni from Elk Creek. They got a bunch of donations from there, a lot of donations from people around this community, and they supported it very well.
In Elk Creek, Jake Bartecki, News Channel, Nebraska.
Staying in southeast Nebraska as construction of a new landfill continues there. The Beatrice area solid waste agencies approved a landfill rate increase, adding $1 to the monthly garbage bill of local residents. City Administrator Tobias Templemeyer says the new rates will help pay off the bonds that were issued for the $13 million project. The adjustments also apply to communities outside the city that use the landfill. The last time rates were adjusted, 2022. The new landfill expected to open in late summer or early fall. And a northeast Nebraska town buzzing with excitement as a beloved community staple gets a new lease on life. After 6 months of uncertainty, the former Ken's Market in downtown Coleridge set to reopen its doors. Hanky Hazelton has more.
Burrish Meats, it's kind of a unique business. We have 2 chicken facilities we deal with, we have 2 pork facilities we deal with, and we have 5 beef packing facilities that we deal with. And that gives us a chance to look at prices with both or all 5 facilities and pick and choose who we want to buy from. And it also helps them, be competitive with their prices for us to help keep our costs down for our customers.
They also carry dry goods and candy.
We buy jerky, sticks. We deal with Tasty Toppings, which is the Dorothy Lynch. We deal with some local popcorn people that we buy product from them. Local people who raise honey, we buy in candies. We deal with Baker's Candies out of Greenwood, Nebraska.
Burrish said the most important part of the buying comes from making sure most, if not all, are Nebraska-made products.
That's our main concern, is just trying to be customer friendly as we possibly can in these times with keeping our prices as low as we possibly can. And we find out that by directly going to the source, we can eliminate the middleman, and that helps keep our prices down.
When you think of the town Coleridge, it's a quiet little town with a population of 515 people. And when you think to yourself, who puts a grocery store here? When we asked Scott why, he said it all really has to do with his faith.
We're a Christian family, we're Catholic. Everything that we do, we feel the Lord guides us in it. He has his hand in this. He wants us to do this. It's a calling for us, and we treat it as so. So that's the basis behind our low prices, is we we kind of had an understanding that if he keeps sending people, we'll keep our prices fair for him, and it's working so far. So that's how we run our format.
With the reputation Burrish Meats have had in the David City and in the Columbus areas, the public looks forward to the amount of people that could flock to the small town of Coleridge.
They've got to go to either Laurel, Arlington, or Randolph, and all three are about 15 miles away. So I've heard so many people that go to Columbus and David City right now to buy some meats and products from them. So we're really hoping that the whole area supports them good and we keep that business going.
Reporting in Coleridge, Hanky Hazelton, News Channel, Nebraska.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. This is News Channel Nebraska.